Alright, so welcome back to Everdell Spirecrest, the Discover cards. So this will be part 2. This should be the last video we do for these cards. So let's get started. Now, most of these last few cards are going to be for points. They're going to help you get extra points at the end of the game, depending on whether you can fulfill them or not. But there are 4 cards in this pile that don't really have anything to really do with points. But they do give you tons of interesting stuff and really cool stuff. And so we're going to do 2 of them to start with, and then we'll save the best 2 for last. So let's get started. So it'll give you something to obviously wait for at the end of the video, by also whetting your appetite with something interesting at the beginning of this video. So this one you'll play immediately if you choose it, and it's called Cloud Song. Name any construction and search the deck. If you find that construction, you may draw it into your hand even if your hand is full. So this is really cool. It might guarantee that you get a certain construction card. Maybe there's a construction card you've been wanting to get for the whole game, but you haven't been able to find it. Just hasn't been drawn yet. If it happens to be in the deck while you're searching for it, you'll get it, and you'll get to put it into your hand regardless of what is in your hand, which is really cool. It doesn't guarantee you'll get the construction card, because if there isn't that construction card still available in the deck, because they're either been all utilized, or they're all in the discard pile, or something like that, or in somebody else's hand, then obviously you're not going to get it. But there's a good chance that that construction card will still be there. A good chance, for sure. 50-50 maybe. Maybe 75-25, who knows. But the point is, this is still a pretty cool one to get. Then we have the Bounty Hunter. This is very similar to Cloud Song. You'll also play this one immediately. So the Bounty Hunter is you name any critter and search the deck. If you find that critter, you may draw it into your hand, even if your hand is full. So it's basically exactly like the Cloud Song, except it works with the critters. You name a critter, and this one you name a construction card. And so that's still pretty cool, for sure. Alright, now let's get to the points. The cards that work with the points. So with this one, Everblossom City will be worth 6 points. But it'll also be worth -1 point for each purple prosperity in your city. So if you ended up not getting too many purple prosperity cards, it's possible this will be worth some points at the end of the game. But if you have 6 purple prosperity cards in your city, this is worth nothing. Okay, then we have Belson City. This one is worth 3 points. And then it's worth 1 point for each card in the color that you have the least of in your city. So let's say purple prosperity is the least. Maybe you only have 1 purple prosperity card in your city. Or maybe you only have 2. This is going to give you 2 extra points, because maybe that's the least amount in your city, obviously. So that's pretty cool. So for each card in that color that you have least in your city. Meaning, if you didn't have a certain color in your city, let's say you didn't have any blue governance cards in your city, and then happened to a player, a friend of mine, well, it wasn't in their city anyway. That color wasn't in their city, and so therefore it doesn't count that one. It goes to the one that you actually do have in your city. And then you'd get a point for each one that's in your city of that color, as long as it was the least amount. So this could be worth a couple extra points. It could be worth more than 3. But it's obviously better than the last card, unless, of course, you're not planning on putting too many purple prosperity cards in your city. Mist Rise City. Well, this is worth 6 points at the end of the game, but it's worth -1 for each Tan Traveler card in your city. So if you have 6 Tan Traveler cards in your city, this is worth nothing. So you obviously will know how many cards you already have in your city before you choose these, and so you might not choose these depending on what you have in your city already. Sunblaze City. This is worth 6 points at the end of the game, but it's also worth -1 point for every red destination card in your city. So if you have 6 red destination cards in your city, this is worth nothing. Hope Watch Trail. Well, this is worth a point, but it's worth a point for each point you gained on Journey, up to 7 points. So this is the journey right here. So you could possibly put more than 1 worker at these locations. You could put one here, you could put one there, for instance. You could put a worker here to gain 5 points by discarding 5 cards, and then you could put another worker here, which I've never seen anyone really do before, but you could put another worker here to gain 2 points by discarding 2 cards, and so if you had the Hope Watch Trail, this would give you an additional 7 points if you had 5 and 2, for instance, but only up to 7, so you couldn't do, obviously, more than 7 points. But if you have him here, this is going to be worth 5 points if you have a worker here. If you have a worker here, this is going to be worth 4 points, and so on. And so that's how that one works. And so that one's not too bad. That one's not too bad at all. It's better than some of the other ones for sure. Gather Wind Trail. This one is worth 4 points if you have achieved at least 2 events. So if you haven't even achieved 1 event, then obviously getting this one would not be a good idea. But if you have 2 events already achieved, you're going to get 4 points at the end of the game for this. Starfall City. This is worth 6 points at the end of the game, but for every blue governance card in your city, this will be worth -1, and if you have 6 blue governance cards in your city, Starfall City will be worth absolutely nothing. Now, it's too bad we weren't playing with Spirecrest the last time we played Everdell. My friend of mine, he did not have a single blue governance card in his city, so if we happened to actually been playing Spirecrest at the time and he had gotten this card, he would have absolutely loved it because he would have gotten the 6 extra points at the end of the game for not having a single blue governance card in his city. It's just too bad. Alright, then we have the Distant Shore. You'll place this at the end of your expedition. So this is like an additional map tile, basically, that you're going to place at the end of your expedition. So your rabbit traveler is going to get to go here after he's done all the other map tiles, obviously. Then, if you still have 6 cards to discard at the end of the game, you're going to get 7 points. So that's kind of interesting. Green Sprout City. This is worth 6 points at the end of the game, but it's worth -1 point for every 2 green production cards in your city. So if you have 12 green production cards in your city, which is not likely, but if you did, this is going to be worth nothing. But if you had only like six green production cards in your city, then this will still be at least worth 3 points at the end of the game, as a for instance. Serpents Pass. This is another one of those cards that you'll place at the end of the expedition, and that's the serpent right there. So basically, if your rapid traveler has completed the other map tiles, and this is at the end of the expedition, you can, obviously lose 6 more resources of your choice to gain an additional 7 points at the end of the game. All right, we got 2 more. I saved the best 2 for last. You'll play this one immediately. Cave of Dancing Lights. This is probably even better than the last one, definitely. It's definitely even better. So let's save it for last, literally. Alright, so let's do this one first before we do that one. This one you'll play immediately as well. It's called Star Weavers. You may discard any number of cards to draw to your hand limit. So if you have a lot of cards in your hand that you don't think you're going to play with, they just happen to be in your hand, you could discard all of them and then draw up to your hand limit for possibly some better cards for the last season to utilize. Who knows? So that could be useful. It's definitely better. Unless you're searching for a particular construction card or critter card, this is definitely better than the other 2 cards that we started this video off with. Okay, the best for last. This is the best card in the last pile. There's nothing better than this. Okay, so let's talk about it. You reveal 4 cards from the deck. It doesn't say deck, but that's what you're going to reveal the 4 cards from. Then you're going to gain based on color. You're going to gain these resources based on what type of card it is. If you have a card that was revealed that was a green production card, you'll gain a berry for it. If it was a Tan Traveler card, you'll gain a twig. If it was a red destination card, you'll gain a resin. If it was a blue governance card, you'll gain a pebble. And if it was a purple prosperity card, you'll gain a resource, any resource of your choice. So that's really awesome, especially if it's a purple prosperity card. Then you'll also draw any cards that were revealed, and then discard the rest. So if some of the 4 cards you wanted to put into your hand because you had room for them, or, you know, if you had room for all of them and you wanted all of them, you could draw all of them if you wanted. But then the cards you decided not to draw will just get discarded. And then you still get all these awesome resources. So this is obviously the best one you can get, if you can manage to acquire it as a choice. For sure, this is the best one. Anyways, so that is all of the Discover cards. We have done every single one. That is everything that you need to know about Everdell Spirecrest. There really isn't anything else to know about it. And so thank you guys for watching this video, especially if you watched all the other videos for Everdell Spirecrest. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. And I'll see you guys again soon. Thank you guys for watching. See you around.